Choice, Secular Nation mini podcast. This is your humble co-host, Michael X. Before we post our next episode, Tim and I thought we'd give you a teaser featuring our next guest. LauryEgan is the author of The Outcast Oracle, a terrific novel published by the Humanist Press. So here, Laurie will be reading from her book. The main character's lines will be read by my daughter, Gracie X. We hope that you'll see why Kirkus Reviews named it a best book of 2013.
All right, this is an excerpt from Chapter 2 of The Outcast Oracle, and as the book opens, our heroine, who is 14 years old, has been left by her parents in the custody of her grandfather, CB, and he is quite a character, a con artist and moonshiner and religious fraud. So I'm going to be talking from Charlie's narration now from her point of view. Chapter 2. After the mess I made cooking the trout, which is annoying on account of they have too many bones, I did the dishes and cleaned up. Now I'm in my room working on the assignment Grandpa gave me. He said I'm ready to start learning the sermon writing business and have to complete 3 typed pages before bedtime so he can make a decision as to whether they're acceptable for tomorrow's service. I asked him what I should write about, and Grandpa told me anything on the subject of sin is best. People like to feel guilty, and the guiltier they feel, the more they come to our chapel to repent, and the more money they drop on the plate. So far, I have sin divided into categories. I decide not to mention drinking, because that might hurt our hooch business. Telling falsehoods, Jim Dandy, I know a lot about that.
Here you go, Grandpa.
I place the pages on the table beside him.
All about lying and twisting the truth.
Good girl.
He leans forward and plants a kiss on my cheek. I smell scotch on his breath and smoke from the cigar.
I will peruse your literary endeavor immediately.
He removes his spectacles, cleans them slowly with a handkerchief, and then takes my sermon in hand. I settle in the corner of the plaid couch across from him. Before long, Grandpa is chuckling away, shaking his head side to side as he turns the pages where they're resting on his belly.
First rate. You do take after me.
I consider this quite a compliment because Grandpa is smart. He attended the University of Pennsylvania and also spent a year at business school.
Indeed, Charlie, you'll be on deck tomorrow.
You mean it's really okay?
Absolutely. As written. You have an exquisite gift for hyperbole, my dear.
We've done hyperbole under H words, though prior to looking it up, I thought it was some kind of growth on a tree. One of those words that doesn't look or sound like what it is. Grandpa CB smiles at me. He also likes to exercise his vocabulary with his flock, as he calls them, because the less they understand what he's saying, the more impressed they'll be. In my sermon, I threw in some multisyllable words such as prevarication, confabulation, and duplicity. Though I spread them around so no one will think I'm being uppity. The next day, Grandpa is in the basement before breakfast practicing his sermon by tape recording it. I think he does this because he's in love with his voice. But he says it's no different than an actor working on his performance. After breakfast, we dress for the service. Grandpa wears his black suit and clerical shirt with white collar. I follow him into the chapel decked out in my black velvet dress with the ivory lace collar, white knee-high stockings, and Mary Jane shoes, as gussied as I can get. People arrive, and Grandpa begins sermonizing. After a half hour, he escorts me to the podium. It smells of lemon oil on account of Grandpa polishes the wood twice a month. After some throat clearing, he says in a round, deep voice,
My friends, this morning you have the ultimate privilege. My granddaughter has seen the light, and the light is now within her.
Oh, I'm thinking that it's one thing for me to be a liar, pontificating about the evils of lying, and quite another thing to claim spiritual enlightenment. Perspiration pops out on my forehead. Everyone is staring at me like I'm the Virgin Mary. I manage a tiny smile, then knit my eyebrows together and gather up all the seriousness I can, reminding myself to talk slowly and pretend my voice is on a roller coaster.
Lying is a sin. Now, most people think a lie is a small thing. Maybe you lie to protect someone's feelings, telling them they look beautiful when they're a real dog. But then, can you imagine some poor soul who keeps being told they're gorgeous when they're not? I ask you, where will that lead? To vanity for sure, but that's another sin for another sermon.
I pause here to see if everyone is with me. Folks are nodding, so I figure I'm doing fine.
Now, what sort of people lie? Weak weasels who choose prevarication over truth. People who want to puff themselves up to look good, or to hide something wicked they've done.
I open Grandpa's Bible and enjoy the secret humor of what I read next.
From Psalm 101:7, He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight.
I risk a quick glance at Grandpa, who maintains a serious expression, even though last night he laughed at this line when he saw it in my sermon. I then throw in a few other passages that Grandpa suggested, though these go over big. There's a lot more head nodding going on, husbands checking with their wives and vice versa. Excited, I launched into the nearby areas of deceit, deception, and duplicity. The 3 Ds, I call them. When I finish, the silence staggers me with its loudness. I don't know what to do, and suddenly feel like a fool. No, worse yet, a lying fool.
Thank you, Charlene.
He takes my hand, gives it a squeeze. His green eyes, which are the same color as mine, are sparkling. I can see he's trying not to smile, so I keep my face straight. The congregation is whispering and looking impressed. When the collection plate goes round, nearly everyone gives double. Later, after the service, Grandpa looks tired, but when he sees me, his expression changes to pride.
Charlie, you're wiser than your years. You did a superb job this morning.
He reaches in his pocket and hands me a $20 bill.
Put this somewhere safe.
By this, Grandpa means in the ground. All around the property, he has tin boxes buried, like he's the Alexander Hamilton of squirrels. He believes this is better than storing money in the house because houses can burn, or the police can search and find the money. Grandpa has shown me where his tins are located, and I have 2 boxes hidden near a willow tree. I also have a checking account with $200 in it, which Grandpa started in December after applying for my Social Security card. Just in case, he said. I never asked him what he meant, but since my parents left, I don't trust the world like I used to, and maybe Grandpa feels the same way. Okay, that's the end of that little excerpt.
So you'll have to get the book if you want to hear the rest.
Yes.